welcome back to episode 10 of Coaches on the Couch. We've got Dan on this week. We're going to be going through a lot of stuff to do with his online coaching. Did your first show this year, didn't you?
Yeah, did indeed.
See how he got on and his transitioning. And like we've all used the same coach, so we're going to go into quite a bit of depth. So first of all, a bit of background about yourself, Dan.
Background about myself.
Fitness and everything else.
So I've been PTing now for, 5 years, 2019. Yeah, just over 5 years now, PTing. And that was one-to-one. And then started coaching roughly around the same time with that, but didn't really start pushing that until a couple of years in. So I'd say coaching now for, 3. Still do both, still do one-to-one coaching. Coaching's definitely the busier side of it. But I'd say, yeah, still doing one-to-one PT. Still enjoy both. So
I was going to ask you about that. Are you wanting to continue with one-to-one PT, or is it because like when I used to do it, I started online to get that in a way.
Yeah.
But obviously,
so I think with PT, it's one of them where, don't get me wrong, like coaching, you can obviously you got a lot more time than PT. Yeah. But there's sort of by it that I do. The PT clients that I've got at the minute, like I've got a good group of clients at the minute, and everyone is very long term. Yeah. So, all the people who are like one-to-one PT at the minute are all clients I've had for sort of minimum of probably say a year, some 2, some 3. Literally, I've still got like my first client ever signed up PT. So it's like I've got a good group, and I don't know, part of me just enjoys that aspect of still don't get me wrong, you have that good communication with your online clients, but part of me still enjoys that of
seeing them in person.
Actually going in the gym and actually interacting and actually gets me away from the laptop for a little bit. So I think I'll definitely taper it down more so. Like the minute I've over the past sort of since I started prep this year, tapered it down. And I think it's to a point now where as people drop off, I probably won't look to fill the spaces.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
With your one-to-one clients, do they do your online coaching as well, or is it separate programming?
Separate. So they still have access to platforms that I use for coaching, so app and things like that. And they still obviously have programming and stuff like that, but they won't have a check-in as such every week. Our check-in is more so catching up when we've got a session.
You see them once or twice.
I see them once or twice a week, so they don't need to do a check-in. We just do that in person and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And do you feel doing the one-to-one that helped you transition to the online side of things? How did you find that transition at first when you all to online?
Yeah, definitely. I think one-to-one's good. I think it's definitely a good place to start before online. I think I'll say that to anyone. I think not even just from learning people. Like, don't get me wrong, you can read people online and stuff like that through your check-ins and through calls and stuff like that. But being with someone one-to-one, you get to learn a lot about people. And I think that is a good trait to take from doing one-to-one first before going. So it's not needed, but I think it's definitely good. And even in sense of a business standpoint, I think building a one-to-one business is a hell of a lot easier than building an online business, 100%. So it's like, if you can build a one-to-one business, show you can get results through those people and stuff like that, I think then that will help you online anyway. So
I think with a lot of PTs, they don't do like the nutrition side, and
no,
they literally just do it. Like we've spoke about it before, haven't we? Like when I used PT, I think I was like the only one who did like diet plans with them.
100%.
Because a lot of them just go in for a session and that's it.
And don't get me wrong, I think with PT you always have that. I think that's what in a way separates coaching to one-to-one is I think sometimes with one-to-one people kind of, as I say, I have some clients that I've had now for years, and don't get me wrong, they have goals that, yes, of course, we work towards in terms of programming and nutrition and things like that, but a lot of it is just having that accountability of someone to come in the gym and push them that little bit further than they probably get on their own. And that's what they enjoy. And if that's what they enjoy and that's what they want out of it, then I'm happy with that. If they want something else out of it and then that's all they're getting out of it, then
you're trying,
do you know what I mean? Yeah, so, well, for example, sort of like what Lee's saying there, if they want a result, but then a coach isn't providing the tools that they need to get a result and he's just taking them for a one session a week, then... But
Yeah. Cool.
So that's your online coaching, your PT inside of things. Your personal fitness, obviously this year, first ever competition.
Yeah.
How have you found it? What made you actually go down that route in the end?
So did a photo shoot, what would have been a couple of years ago, 2022. That year I did want to compete, but I knew I wasn't big enough, and I was always one of these, I weren't going to rush, and I think that's a big thing nowadays, people just rush in to get on stage. I knew the stage ain't going nowhere, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do a photo shoot. Just did the photo shoot, enjoyed it, still got in good nick for it, like got in shape, stuck out 20-week prep for that, didn't miss a beat, enjoyed it, and was like, you know what, now I'm just going to spend the next sort of what was 18, 20 months growing, and then did that, and I say then started prep in January this year, and then yeah, did my first show, and yeah, very much enjoyed it.
I think, what you said there, when people rushing into it,
Yeah, bro.
like a lot of clients, like I'll take them through a photo shoot prep first, so they know kind of the process.
Yeah, 100%. People think it's easier than it is. That's
the
thing. I think the photo shoot prep's good to see if someone's got the minerals to stick out of prep.
That's it. Because I've got one of my guys now. He wants to compete, so he knows kind of what's to come in regards to like the diet, the cardio. So he's already like, it's not going to be new to him. Do you know what I mean? So he's going to know what to expect.
And you've drove him low already.
Yeah.
Through that period, you know his reactions as a coach.
Yeah.
You took him through a mini process in a way.
Yeah. And then he's obviously gone into an off season. Now we're coming back down. So
getting in shape second time around is always easier as well. Like once you've been in shape once, it's easier to get in shape again.
Yeah.
Like once that body fat's been off once, it's easier second time around.
Point's always better.
Yeah, that first time around is like, I would say like now, like my photo shoot prep, I found that a million times harder than I found prep this year. Prep this year was a breeze compared to my photo shoot prep. Like, not because, if anything, I was doing more. Like, do you know what I mean? This time around, there was more cardio, food went lower. I got leaner. I was leaner for longer as well. So I had that feeling of just general, just like fatigue for longer.
Feel fucked.
But at every point, as you say, I knew what to expect. I knew what was coming. And it's almost like you learn a lot about yourself as well. And I think, I'll say right now, can I swear?
Yeah,
go ahead. I was an absolute cunt on my photo shoot prep, like an absolute prick.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing I learned this time around. It was like knowing what to expect and knowing to like, okay, don't take how I feel out on those around you. Because I think that first time, because it's all new to you, it's all new. Your head's just...
I was the exact same. Now, like the last time I competed last year, obviously I've got my daughter now, so I can't fucking like be like twat like that. So I was a lot better in that regard because of the people around me as well, and because I knew like what was to come. Do you know what I mean?
And I think the people around you, I think for your first ever time doing something like that, they don't almost know what to expect, because as much as you're the one prepping, if you live with someone, live with your partner, or even like parents or anything like that, like they don't understand it. And I think that's the thing. Whereas I think like this time around, it's like those people around me knew, okay, like if maybe he's a little bit like this, if he's a little bit like that, it's not him, it's whereas the first time around, it's like, why has he been a dickhead for?
Now that you've done a comp,
you've
been through it all, obviously on the back of that you went on a holiday. What are your moves moving forward with it all? Are you going to compete again, or? Yeah,
so I'll definitely compete again. When? I don't know. I'm not really like, for me, like bodybuilding is something that I just like enjoy, and it's not something that like I want to, it doesn't consume everything I do as such. So like stepping off stage for me, it wasn't a case of like, right, planning ahead now for the next one sort of thing or anything like that. And there's nothing against that. And I'm not saying there's anything against that at all. Like, but for me personally, it was like prep. I have no idea when I'll compete again. It will just be literally when I feel like, you know what, I fancy doing a prep. Like, and I know,
So we touched on before we came on here, using a coach. So we've all used Cam, to be fair, across the years, but sticking with the same coach. So you did your photo prep with Cam. Yeah,
Cam's the only coach I've ever had.
So how have you found using the same coach instead of switching coaches up?
I find just from a, you get to know each other, not just in terms of like he gets to know again like what works for you, what doesn't work for you and stuff like that, but just on a personal level as well. And I feel like that always helps. Like the better relationship you can build with a coach, the better. And I felt like over the years of sort of being coached by Cam, doing sort of, when literally first ever starting with him, doing like a year and a half, then sort of just push up, doing the photo shoot prep, then sort of even then obviously training with him and things like that in person and stuff like that. Like I feel like you've got that relationship with someone. So I think going into prep, it was a no-brainer for me just to be like to reach out to him and not anyone else.
And I think a good point that you touched on, the longer you use a coach, so it's something that I'm sure you've told your clients.
Yeah, know what works, know what doesn't.
What it's like, give me time to work with you. The more I
100%.
understand you, the more I can develop you, and we can deal with the issues that come along.
100%.
Because you've used Jenny Snow yourself, haven't you, Lee, for
fucking years, like
Yeah.
4 or 5 years, maybe. So a long time, and he knows my body and probably better than I do. So he knows how I work, my lifestyle.
And I think that's a big thing as well. I think that's a big thing. It's someone not necessarily even like, yes, the coach gets to know your body and things like that. But when I was speaking about like it being more of gets on your personal level, it's knowing what your personal life's like.
Yeah.
And if they know what, okay, right, this is what his days on a kind of daily basis, then he's got a family and things like that, then they know already. And it's
they know when to check in, don't they? They know when to say things like me and Cam, like some weeks I will forget to check in when I'm that busy with work, and it's not, and he knows it's not a case of I forgot to do it. It's just like I'm focused. I need to just
100%.
what I'm doing. If I miss 2 weeks, then he knows that I'm just in. Usually, like on that moment, he wouldn't even message me because like just checking in a few days. And another coach there might message me too much, and that again's the like understanding of that person, which definitely makes a big difference. I find.
Yeah, like if you went for a new coach, he's not going to know what your work like at all. And then you just
and it's trust as well, isn't it? At the end of the day, especially when you're dealing with preps and bodybuilding and stuff like that. I think you have to like. Luckily for me, I've not had any bad experience with coach. I say because Cam is literally the only coach I've had. But say Maddie, my girlfriend, she's had a couple of, I won't name names, but like she's had a quite a few
clients come to you like who've had bad
clients as well. But she's like, from me obviously knowing that on a very personal level, like I've seen like bad experience with coaches, and I think like having a coach that you just know you trust, like with every decision they're making, especially when it comes to bodybuilding as well, and there's decisions that are being made that ultimately like your health is a big part of that. And I think it's important that you know that the coach that you're working with is just as bothered about your health and things like that than they just are bothered about getting a result for their fucking Instagram page.
Yeah. What were the bad things in the coach?
Don't. Don't.
Honestly, going out now.
Just like to the extent of it's like check-ins, just like madly, like to the point where it's like, okay, check-ins are coming back like 3-4 days later than what they've been sent. Like first week of signing up, bloody sending messages or questions about the plan and then not getting the answers to them until the next check-in 7 days later. But it's like, well, it's my first week. I kind of want the answers so I can actually just get
fucking hell. Yeah.
And then when the excuses that come off the back of that, I'll tell you a lot more after.
Basically, just like communication.
It's like when that. 100%. And I think this is where it comes down to as well of like when then the excuses that are made come down to busy. So you gotta. I think people chase numbers nowadays, and that's.
They take too much on that they can handle.
100%.
Chasing money instead of actually providing support.
Yeah, and not really giving a shit, basically.
If you're online coaching then, obviously now you've competed, would you like to take someone through that? I know Lee's taken a few of his clients through contest prep and everything.
Yeah. So definitely something I want to do. Now I've done it myself. I have got client Lisa. She's going to be competing next year. Took her for a photo shoot prep this year. Done a couple of photo shoot preps with people and got them in very good shape, and to a point where I know if we pushed that a little bit further, it had been a case where. But for her, it was just a case where I was like, look, let's just make sure again the stage ain't going nowhere. Let's do a photo shoot. Do that first. Get yourself, as you said, used to doing a prep. See if you enjoy it. Just go through that process once, and then she's come off the back of that photo shoot and.
She's ready.
Yeah, like loved it, and that's what then you want to see, because then you feel confident as well pushing that person to get on stage. So I think that's another thing nowadays is coaches pushing to people to compete when they shouldn't compete.
No, they're not ready.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing as well. It's like know that client is ready to compete, because it's gonna mentally and physically and mentally take its toll. So 100%. You got to know that. They're ready. So yeah, she's gonna be competing next year. So that'll be my first client on stage, and yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Post show.
How
did you find it? Because obviously it's better, like even post photo shoot for people when they have put low. How do you find it? The control of food?
Hard.
Yeah. So photo shoot, as I was just speaking to you before we started filming, the photo shoot I found a lot harder than this time around. But again, I think it's that again you learn. It's like your first time, and throughout a photo shoot, it's like told myself, yeah, I'm not gonna binge. I'm not gonna binge. I'm not gonna binge. I'm not gonna binge. I binged silly hard. But then this time around, it was like I said to myself, I said to Cam straight up, I was like, right. The next day after show, I said, I'm eating what the fuck I want, like anything and everything inside. I was like, I'm eating it. I said, but then the next day, I will be back on it, and that's what I did. And it was just a case of that day after show, the night after my show, even literally just had a meal out, which was like Turkish, which wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
But then it was like the next day waking up, and it was like, right, went to Ultra, trained. Tim Hortons for breakfast, then went into and then it was just spiraled onwards from there. And I think I put back about I think my day finished like 9,500 calories, which that's only what I tracked as well.
Fucking hell.
So, but then the next day, woke up and just got straight back on it. And then it was a case of we had 2 weeks, so we went away, and it was controlled, but it was enjoyable as well. So it was like I was doing 2 days fully back on plan, and then a day where I'd do sort of a little bit more of free reign.
Yeah.
So I was doing every third day having a little bit of free reign, which from a body composition and weight standpoint, it worked a treat, and whilst being able to enjoy myself a little bit.
You know how you touched upon, because are you still with Cam now, or are you still with him now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you'd stopped after your show or not.
Yeah, no, I still do now.
Yeah. So, because I think that's the thing where I've had clients in the past where, like, if they've done a photo shoot, they'll get to that end goal and then they'll stop, and then they can't handle the cravings. You have to, like, the reversing out process is just as
hard on the prep, hard on the prep all day long.
And everything, because you do that next day when you've had all that, you crave the sky high.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
But
continue down that path.
goal that you've just done, you've not got like a clear goal like in sight now, because it's probably going to
you step off stage or you walk out of that photo shoot, wherever it is, and you do almost feel a little bit lost.
Yeah.
And you almost feel a little bit like, and as I say, it's when you start, that's when it is like, because the thing is, I don't know if you was the same, but I was the same photo shoot and show. It was like, step off stage, and it's like, everyone's got you a few little bits and stuff like that. But you've waited all this time, you've thought about all this food, and then you're like, no, wait till I get home.
Yeah.
It's like, it's mad.
Yeah.
It's like, you've had all this thing, and you think the first thing you're going to do is like, grab it and eat it and eat it and eat it. Be like, I'll wait a couple of hours. Like, it's like one of them things, now you can have it. It's not as sort of much of a want until you have it.
Yeah.
And then once you have it, that's
game
over.
over.
Yeah, game over.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, once I've started, you just can't fucking stop.
100%.
So what goals have you set then moving forward? So you come out your show, how have you regained control?
Have I gained control yet?
To an extent.
Well, more so for me, it was like, right, like, enjoyed after show 2 weeks of just, as I say, just controlling things, but also being able to enjoy myself. Went away, and even as I say, went away for a couple of weeks, and that was the same again. It was like enjoying breakfast out in the morning, a couple of meals in the day, which were in Airbnb, so we could cook and things like that. A couple of meals in the day, which were fairly clean, and then eat out in the evening. And then again, even meals out in the evening were never really bad, like never bad food, but it's more so like the baked goods and sweet treats that come around. That's where the damage is done. But yeah, since I've been back, more so just enjoying everything again, to be fair. Like, I enjoy that routine. I enjoy that being on track with my nutrition. Do you know what I mean? I don't, as much as it's nice to just have that complete freedom, at the same time, I think when you do have that bodybuilding in you want some kind of control. You want some kind of structure. So like, even like now, it's like I'm not following a meal plan at the minute. I'm just tracking my macros, but again, nothing's bad sources of food. Nothing's like, so goals wise at the minute, it's literally just to regain full control of my routine, but more so just like find that balance again of enjoying everything, but while still taking me to where I want to be. Not really.
How have you found? Obviously, training's going to be through the roof now.
Yeah.
How did you find training like the back end of prep?
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
You don't enjoy it, do you?
No, horrible. Which is one of the main reasons why at the minute the big focus hasn't been around being crazy meticulous with everything. It's just been going in the gym and just being like, right, got my split in terms of, right, I know what body parts I'm doing on what days, but I'm not going in with a plan. I'm not logbooking anything. I'm just going in and I'm just doing what exercises I fancy doing on that day for said body part and just enjoying it and having a good session. And that way I feel like is sometimes where you get you have the best sessions. You have the most productive sessions, especially post prep as well, where I say strength is through the roof. You just got to be careful, but I think I was getting a little bit carried away. But
you do though, don't you? I was the same.
But yeah, back end of prep's horrible. Like it's that thing of like you get into the gym and
forcing yourself.
You sat there for like 30 minutes in the car before even going to the gym, and I'm sat there thinking, I don't want to do this.
You've got no energy.
I don't want to do this. Yeah. And you know you've got to get in, and especially then if I've not done my cardio in the morning, because I say if I'd clients early doors or whatever, and it's like I've got fucking 45 minutes cardio happening session as well.
How did you find it with obviously PTing as well? Because obviously you're going to be fairly busy PT and then you're on.
Yeah, so this is where it was like I'm quite lucky again into the aspect of a lot of my clients are long term. They understood it, and like I appreciate all of them massively just for the flexibility they gave me in terms of just obviously rescheduling sessions, because there was some days where it was like, you know what I mean, I've got maybe evening clients and I just felt absolutely battered, and it was just a case of, look, are you cool to do a different day? So it's like they gave me a lot of flexibility. And then obviously like the week prior to my show, I did just didn't do any sessions that week, just because again it was like not in a position to be on my feet all day. But with that being said, I'd say my 1-to-1 at the minute isn't busy, like isn't crazy busy. Like the amount of sessions I'm doing per week to what I've done in the past, it's a lot less. So it's a lot more manageable with say rescheduling and things like that, because there's many of hours in the week where people can put their sessions in, whereas when you're busier, it's like, well, I can't rearrange anyone because I've got nowhere to put sort of thing.
I was gonna say, when I did my first 2 shows, I was PTing and I found it horrible because obviously you're busy, you've got to kind of be in a good mood with them as well, you know what I mean? When you've got no energy and you feel like shit yourself, then you've got to like be bubbly and like
100%.
give them a good session.
And that's where I think like it's good for when like earlier when we're speaking about like your partner or like family or whatever understanding, because especially when you've got a job that requires a lot of like 1-to-1 interaction, like you've been given all your energy all day and you're on prep to training, cardio, making sure you're in, as you say, like making sure you're still lively as you can be for your clients. But I say, luckily for me, if I was a bit quieter, if I was like, oh fuck, they'd get it.
Yeah.
But then you're going home, and then like you got to know your partner or whatever's got to know that if you just want to sit on your own, just don't talk to me, like. And especially being in just a gym environment all day, you got music blaring, you got like this, like people talking, and
it's not just your clients, it's like members who see.
100%.
Yeah.
So when you get home, you just like, right,
that's the good thing. Like because my missus knows now the whole the process. She's like, I'm just going to leave you for a bit.
Feel from your prep, is there anything you've transitioned and taken to your clients?
Nothing outside of what I think I already. I think from a photo shoot prep, my first one. From this one, maybe just more of the same. But I think just doing a prep, I think, or any kind of strict diet anything as a coach is important, because I feel like, and this isn't me because you see it all the time, that you're like, oh, someone could be out of shape but be really knowledgeable. This, that. Yes, 100%, and I know, and that is 100% correct. But I feel like you've got to have some sense of walking the walk.
Go through it.
Like,
you've got to go through the process.
You've got to know what to expect, because there's no way you can tell someone, like I always say, like everything I've told someone to do, I've done it myself. Like if I'm there saying to a client, like say Lisa, for example, she done that her photo shoot, got in incredible shape, but got to the point where I'm saying, right, go do 60 minutes on the stairs. I know that ain't easy when your body fat's getting low, your food's low, you're fatigued, you've been at work all day. But at least she knows that I've been there and done it myself.
Yeah, you've proven it off.
Because if I'm there telling you to go do X, Y, and Z, but then I've never done it myself,
I think it's
you're out of shape.
Exactly. 100%.
Your understanding of it can be great, but the mentality side of things, if you've never been that deep yourself, it's great to understand, oh, well, you should
100%.
You should do this kind of, but how does that make someone feel?
Yeah, and it's understanding the emotion as well, and that's the thing, and it's almost like being able to tell a client what to expect and when to expect it, and be like, if they're feeling a type of way, be able to say, look, that it, as much as it's not ideal, it's what we expect, so don't overly
And that's where, like you said, doing a photo shoot first before you
100%.
step on stage, they're already understanding that it's going to get,
100%.
like, I had the photo shoot prep, like 50 minutes cardio, like
Yeah.
it's going to get high
Yeah,
regardless.
but I did
Like,
55 minutes of cardio, honestly.
and then obviously, like, the guy who's now doing prep, he knows like what's to come. Like, you're going to be doing like probably minimum 50 minutes on the stairs.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's people dependent. Yeah, you may even need to do a little bit more because now you're competing, but
Yeah,
it is what it is. It's how your body responds.
100%.
So
So yeah, I definitely think it's a case of, just as I say, just walking the walk. I think doing those preps definitely has allowed me, I say, just to have that more of an emotional understanding of their feelings when they're going through what they're doing.
how did you find the actual like getting on stage itself?
Yeah, enjoyed it, to be fair. It was one of them where, like, it was one of them where I didn't put no pressure on myself or anything. Like, the whole time I just said to myself, I was like, look, like again, I'm not like bodybuilding. I do it because I enjoy it, and I think I'll very much say I enjoy the process more than getting on stage. Don't get me wrong, like
the posing and fucking up.
Yeah, like, and that's one thing. That's one thing I will admit. One thing I will admit that I'd probably practice my posing.
That's something
other than through my check-in photos each week. Probably not. I think I did 1 or 2 posing sessions, and that was it, like half an hour each. That's one thing definitely next time round I will improve on.
Yeah.
But also one thing that I think a lot of people spend too much time on rather than actually focus on getting in shape.
Yeah. Too busy posing.
Yeah, 100%.
Instead of training.
What was the question now?
How did you actually, like, the actual show dates?
Oh yeah, but yeah, stepping on stage was, I thought I'd be a lot more nervous than I was. But then it was like when you walk out and then obviously you got the lights, you can't see anyone anyway.
You can't see nothing.
So you can't see nothing.
Yeah.
So it was almost like, oh, this is sound. Just imagine there's no one there and you're good. So yeah, I actually quite enjoyed it. And I'd say, like, now doing it again, like yeah, I wouldn't be nervous in the slightest getting on stage.
Would there be anything you change now that you've done one prep? You've done a photo shoot, you've done a prep. Would there be anything that you change besides obviously doing that extra bit of posing? Was there anything else you picked up, or was you happy?
I'd say I was happy, but again, you've always got that thing of, you tell yourself, I could have done more.
Yeah.
I could have done more. You always tell yourself, like, oh, could I push a little bit harder on that cardio? Could I? And even though in the time you probably couldn't, because you do feel like you give everything you've got. But I think after, you always then maybe second guess yourself a little bit, like, oh, could I have done more? Could I have done more? Like,
I reckon you would as well next time. It's something I was saying to, like, I did my first ever photo shoot, like, with my clients this year, and they're all like, they did it, and then like, I had one client in particular who's like, yeah, but I could have done better. It's like, well, that's great, because next time you win.
And that's the thing. I think that's going to come from anyone anyway who just has that mindset of wanting to be better.
Yeah.
Because even if, like, I know, like, and I say, like, Cam knew, like, I gave everything. Like, I didn't miss a beat with my nutrition, didn't have anything off plan, didn't miss a cardio session, didn't miss a training session. Everything was spot on. But I think if you've got that mindset of, like, wanting to be better, you will always tell yourself you could have done that a little bit more. Like, that's because anything on it, business or whatever, you always want to do that a little bit.
Yeah.
We touched upon as well, obviously, online coaching and everything. You went across to Dubai, didn't you?
Yeah.
What are your plans moving forward, business-wise? Now that you've done everything,
business-wise,
abroad, are you happy in this country?
Happy in this country? Anyone happy in this country? Yeah, eventually. I think it's definitely on the cards. Eventually, when, I don't know, but I think it's definitely, like, my girlfriend. She coaches as well, so luckily we're both in a position where we could just
the freedom
get up and go if we wanted to. But I think at the minute we've got too many commitments here at the moment to make that step. And also, I just want to make sure that not necessarily the time is right, but I think just knowing that when we do make that step, it's like we can continue it and not just make it too soon. Because I think that's one of the things I do see with people is with, like, when it comes to, like, moving abroad, if you don't want to make it too soon, have to come back. So yeah, we will eventually. We've got a few plans in place next year for maybe a little bit of a longer holiday as such. With being Spain, but as sort of like a test in the waters of being abroad for a little bit longer. But in terms of Dubai, it's not especially with a dog and things like that as well, it's not exactly So definitely something I'd like to in the future, but not just.
Does your girlfriend compete as well?
She'll be doing her first show next year.
Oh, is it?
So it's her turn next year. I'm killing next year. Yeah, exactly. It's my turn to return the favour now. I'd say she's put me now for what, 2 preps, so I think it's time for me to return the favour. So yeah, which I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing her go about and her go through that process, and I think she has a big insight to what to expect from obviously just being around me and living with me through prep.
Would you coach her or?
Nah, no chance. She's coached by Cam, to be fair.
Oh, is she? Oh, okay.
By Cam now, to be fair.
That works great though if you're both in the same mindset as well. Both enjoy your training, both enjoy your diet.
Yeah, that's why it helps as well. I think her being in that sort of like bodybuilding like circle now as well helped massively this time around, because like she has obviously people around her who prep and things like that, and again they can sort of reaffirm to you that it's prep and it's not like anything so
it's not lost his head.
Yeah, exactly. Quite.
I think we've touched upon most things. Nothing else that I can think of off the top of my head at the moment. Have you got any questions for us? Anything you want to touch upon?
Sure, plan we're competing next. I know you had your...
Yeah. So personally, this year for me is a full year bulk. Obviously competed last year. He was at one of the comps as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, full year bulk for me because I wasn't big enough last year. I enjoyed it, but when I got on stage, it was clear that just the size, that kind of thing's got the condition. So full year. Next year I'll compete. And to be honest, if next year doesn't go, if I'm not near the top 5, I'll question whether I'd compete again. Because as much as I enjoy it, again, I quite enjoy the lifestyle side kind of things. Like being on a bulk this year has been nicer because I've been able to, like I went out Friday night and I didn't feel guilty for it.
Yeah, I think that's what I was speaking to you, wasn't I, about before we started filming, was a thing. I'm like that. It's like, I won't compete now until I feel like the time's right, which I probably don't think it won't be next year. Definitely won't be next year. Maybe the year after, don't know. But it's like, and even then now, I say through this sort of like what will be an off-season sort of setting, it's like I'm gonna have probably a lot more flexibility, a lot more freedom than your typical person who maybe wants to compete. Like I know you're very obviously like wanting to stay within that body. I don't know what your sort of flexibility is like around your nutrition and things like that.
See, my food's, it's still fed. I've got like burgers every night, so exactly. It's like it's not hard. But I'm still like I still have an off plan at the weekend. I'll go out with my daughter or whatever. But yeah, it's been a lot better, like you said, for the flexibility side. Like last year, I was on prep for fucking like pretty much most of the summer as well.
It's hard,
and it's hard. Like
being around your mates, like you said before. I was sat. I remember everyone's in the house. I had my huddle. Sat there, I was like, what am I even doing in this room? I was like, you're all right.
But yes, that's
like holidays. I enjoy.
That's what, 100%.
Yeah,
like stuff planned, like with people to go and do, and going out with my mum and dad. Like I work a lot of hours now. Like my new role this past week, it's like 70, 80 hour week plus, and it's just nice to come home and go out for a meal at a restaurant and not feel guilty for it, because I know the rest of the week's been on point anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
But when you're in contest prep, it's like, right, I've got to say no. I don't know, I feel like losing my granddad. I just don't want to miss out on too many opportunities. As much as I love it, if I'm not near the top lot next year, then it'll be a case of, do I really want to continue this? Because there's a lot of sacrifice.
It is.
There's a lot to put yourself through, and health-wise, it's a lot to put yourself through, going from one extreme to the other. So we'll see how we get on next year. I'm pushing for as much as I can next year. Still need to put on another easy 15, 20 pounds, so we'll see how the body handles that, and then see what we come in at. I love it. But I quite enjoy the other style of training. Like I enjoy when we're training, I enjoy them drop sets and the pushing the further and intensity. So I might go higher up through or more back in. I used to run back in the day. There'll definitely be a competition edge.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Point. But will it be competing? Will depend on next year.
Yeah, I think that's it. As I say, like I enjoy too much having just like that lifestyle as well. Like, don't get wrong, for a prep, if I say, right, you know what, I'm going to compete or go to a photo shoot for that period of time, I'll be all in and nothing else sort of comes into even consideration. But in terms of food or anything like that, but I don't live and breathe bodybuilding.
No.
And I'm not one of these people who like got off stage and it's like, right, you know, it's like the work starts now for next year. It's like, no, I'm gonna go enjoy myself for the next like 12 months. And if that means I'm gonna sacrifice 10% of progress next time I get back on stage, but I've enjoyed my past 12 months, I've not had just straight same meals everything, or so be it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's it. I think I'm like, I'm definitely like that because obviously a lot of it's with my daughter as well. I don't want to fucking miss out on her. She's fucking 2. So like going out with her and stuff, like I'm not going to fucking use bodybuilding over her.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like taking the year off, which again is going to be good because I've got all summer with her, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to probably start prep January. Like I said to you before, didn't we? To do like an earlier show, see how I do, and then just kind of go from there. I don't really know what I'm gonna got planned after that, so it just kind of depends on how I do.
How you get to, what you're looking like, how you feel.
Yeah. So hopefully,
it's just when you're mentally ready as well, isn't it? That's
it's enjoyment. I love the prep. I think that going to that edge extreme. So like I get a thrill from it. Like it's like a pause.
Yeah,
I love digging that deep, but it's just a whole whether it'll be that moving forward after another year.
And it's as you mentioned though with training, it's like reason why I got into bodybuilding was for my passion for training.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like prepping, the enjoyment of training goes at a certain point.
Yeah.
So then it's like you're almost like, well, I'm bodybuilding, but I'm not actually enjoying the fundamentals of why I started bodybuilding. So it's like, so I think that's one thing, the main thing for me at the minute is just enjoy training and enjoy just like that thing of I'll always be on plan as such. I'll always have a structure and a routine, and that's another thing as well. I think it's definitely showing me like competing. I enjoy coaching more than I do bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather if someone said, "Now, right, you can bodybuild yourself and compete, or you can just coach and you can't do both." It'd be coaching and putting other people and getting other people results rather than myself. Like 100% get more satisfaction out of getting someone else like in shape and
a mad transformation.
And like say taking Lisa to do her photo shoot. Almost you get more satisfaction out of that than you do getting on stage at yourself. Yeah, 100%.
That's not me.
Yeah, 100%. So I think I
achieved it.
So I definitely,
Perfect. I think that about wraps it up then. No more questions for us. Anything else that you can think of that you want to ask?
Well, I don't know what I've not watched your last episodes. I don't really know what you've like talked about. I don't want to repeat everything you've already been speaking about.
A couple that are coming are on nutrition, and then we had Sam on here, so it was a bit about his background of things. That's a good question, actually. So, your structuring of nutrition for clients.
Yeah.
How do you do it? What's your approach of it? Is it set meal plans, or do you give them calorie?
So I feel like it depends. One, on the person, and also on the goal. Because this is where I think, and as well, this is where I'm going to probably ruffle a few feathers with people. A diet plan, set diet plan, will 100% reap more reward than macros.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
I agree.
100%. Whereas everyone will be like, oh no, it's calories in. It is calories in versus calories out. Yes, 100%. However, if you eat the same meals every day, same foods every day, your body gets used to exactly foods, processing those foods, digestion's on point. You know everything you're eating. You're getting quality foods. Don't get me wrong, you can still put something in there that's quote unquote like fun as such, but like it will always reap more reward than macros. Like people follow that, track their macros. If I know they can be sensible with tracking their macros and they're still going to be getting decent food in, and maybe if they want to track something that's a little bit more safe, that's absolutely fine. But I think when people are now like, there's all the protein, this protein that out there nowadays, and then you see someone's had 150 grams of protein for the day, but it's all been from fucking protein puddings and protein bars. It's like
Did I have last night taco bowl with protein wraps? Yeah, they're just wraps.
Yeah, legit, exactly.
That's all they are.
Exactly. So I think it depends on the person, the goal. So I think if someone's wants just like, if their goal is not anything sort of like, if it's just general like, okay, lifestyle transformation sort of thing, it's like, okay, like I'm happy for you, track your macros, give them a bit of guidance on how to go about that and what foods to pick, and explain to them, yes, you can track something in there every day that you want. Like if you want a chocolate bar every day, like feel free to include it. Just make sure that everything else isn't similar to that. And then if someone's then maybe got a bit more of a stricter goal, so if it's a photo shoot goal, or even if it's sort of a holiday diet where they're like, look, I want to be in proper, like I want to be in shape, sort of like in shape, then it's like, right, meal plan. Like if it's more so if someone wants to actually take it that little bit further, meal plan. If it's more so just lifestyle, track your macros.
Meal plan allows you as a coach as well. It's like, okay, that meal isn't working. We take that exact thing
100%.
To be fair, with
very, very easy to know what's affecting the body.
To be fair, with the meal plans I do, so I'll give them. It's not just like one meal. Like, I'll give them options, obviously. But depending on the goal, I'll give them like nicer options as well.
Yeah, 100%.
But obviously, if it's a stricter goal, like it's just the clean.
That's it, exactly. Yeah.
Because you're gonna get better results from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Quicker results as well.
Quicker results.
But just processing things. You said, didn't you, about you have quite digestive issues sometimes.
Yeah.
So eating clean.
Yeah, 100%. And that's a big thing as well. I think people forget it's not what you're eating, it's what you're actually absorbing. And I think that's one thing that I think younger lads nowadays, I think, forget about. And it's just putting back calories, eating this, masking a shake here, there.
We've
and
all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I've always slapped the Optimum Nutrition.
Yeah.
It's the day. But yeah, I think it's like when you actually start realizing that, I can eat probably less, but just better quality food, and I'll actually grow.
Yeah.
Then
quality food going into you is massive. I think
100%.
TikTok, Instagram, and all that's ruined it for a lot of people because, like, this high protein meal with chocolate, X, Y, and Z in it. It's really.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that bugs me nowadays, I think coaches selling people dreams in terms of, like, don't get me wrong, like, if someone signs up to me and they're very much just getting into the gym, or they go to the gym on a casual basis, but they just want to lose a bit of weight, get feeling good again, it's like, right, I'll try and base their nutrition off of what they've pretty much probably been eating on a daily basis anyway, when obviously they give that to me in a questionnaire, sort of like, what should they look like? They'll tell me what the day looks like, and I'll say, what foods do you enjoy? And put in that can be some foods that are quote unquote like shittier foods.
Yeah.
But I'll still include them because I know that they're only trying to drop a little bit of weight. They're only trying to get feeling good again. So as long as 80% of their nutrition's really good a day, if you have like 20% where they might have a little chocolate bar at lunch or something, it's not gonna harm them. But I think the biggest thing nowadays is coaches that you see on just selling people dreams in terms of, like, you can eat what you want and get in shape. Like you can eat this instead of this. It's like you can have a fucking Mars bar instead of this, and it's like, and it's the same because
the ones that do all the recipes.
Don't.
Protein in it, and it's just like fucking covered like shitloads of fats. Like it's got 30 gram protein in. It's all right.
100%. And I think that's the difference. I think it's realizing that I agree with the whole trying to get people out of a mindset of like what good food is and bad food is, and just seeing it as food, but just understand you've got more nutrient dense food and you've got less nutrient dense food. More nutrient dense is going to be better than.
To be fair, there is good food and bad food at the end of the day, but people
100%.
try to say, you shouldn't say bad or good.
Yeah.
But
it's soft society.
There is good food and bad food.
Yeah, there's good food and bad food, but it's just trying to maybe say to people, because I'll get people where they say like, oh no, I can't have that. And I try to say to them, no, you can have that.
Yeah.
Like, stop looking at it as bad, but it's just moderation and not just that. Like, if you're having that, then cool, but make sure the rest of your day is spot on.
Yeah.
It's a big one because I still work in an office. I wish I'd never told anyone that I did online coaching.
Yeah, I can imagine.
This is what I'm doing. And it is question after question. And I think because there's that much information out there now, it does make it hard for people.
Yeah, 100%.
You're getting one person out, it's really good for you, you can have it.
Yeah.
The next person, no, you should never touch this.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, I think, that do want a transformation, it's more about that feel-good factor, like you said, the enjoyment. And if you can get the enjoyment, like that's the biggest thing when I get someone on board that's not really been into the gym and always struggled. It's like, let's just get you really enjoying it. Let's find a workout that works for you and it's got the enjoyment. Let's not go to the gym 5-6 times a week. Let's just go 3 to start with. oh, wow, I'm really enjoying it. I actually enjoy going to the gym now. Great, let's go 4 times. And just if you focus less on the results, like I want to look like this, the Photoshop big edits.
Yeah, it's just feel good.
All the fake time, like the photo shoots that we do with clients, the photos look amazing. But let's be realistic about like what you actually want behind that is I want to feel good in my body.
I think it's just
to eat better foods because that's going to make you feel good.
Yeah. And it's following a plan as well. I think that's why it's important for someone who's, don't get me wrong, if someone comes in and says like, oh, I want to do a photo shoot, then buckle up because
for a ride.
it ain't going to be easy. But when it comes to, if someone comes in and just says they're going to get in shape, it's like, oh, but I've never followed a meal plan before. I'm not going to make it crazy strict because they ain't going to follow it.
Yeah.
They're going to have a few options for different meals, as you said. They're going to have maybe 3 different options they can choose from for their evening meal. They're going to have a couple of options to choose from for breakfast. They're going to maybe have a couple of snacks in there, and one of them might be a chocolate bar. Do you know what I mean? But if I know they're going to follow that plan every single day, and they're going to be consistent with it,
you can get them
you can get a result.
Yeah.
If I give them a super strict meal plan, but then every other day they come to me and go, oh, Dan, I had a chocolate bar today. It's like, oh, well, now you had that on top of your calories. Well, if I just include that into your calories, then you can have it every day, and we can just monitor it.
Yeah.
So supplements, then, whilst we're on nutrition, we may as well touch upon it. Clients that you on board, what supplements do you advise them, if any?
Supplements, I always go with your main 3, which I'll just always say, multivit, fish oil, vitamin D3, K2. They'll be your 3 essentials, in my opinion. And then anything outside of that, I'd just creatine, again, one of them that I'll say to people, especially if it's sort of their goal, muscle growth, performance, things like that, creatine. But outside of that, I don't really nothing's really essential. So I just say, they're my main 3, and then plus creatine. Outside of that, it will just be purely recommendations, but just say to them, explain to them that, look, nothing's gonna make a massive difference. Like they're all those little 1%, but they're 1% that you've got to add on to your already what is 100% nutrition and training and cardio and steps. It's like so that's from a supplement.
The people who've got a shit diet, they've got the most supplements.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah,
I just bought this. What should I be having?
Yeah.
Watching me up on like
100%.
Follow on.
But it's all the supplements that are just loads of rubbish. That's the thing. It's always the stuff that don't even do anything.
Fat burner.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me started on fat burners.
So you have a black coffee.
Yeah. I'm the same really. It's not really.
But then you get it the other way as well. I think with supplements, whereas you say they're like it's all the people who say don't follow the nutritionists that have the most supplements. But then it's the same time as well where I think like with the bodybuilding side of things, you've got that thing of like, well, there's supplements that people need to be investing in that they don't want to invest in. And I think that's where, again, I think the 3 that I recommended there are obviously just from a general lifestyle standpoint. From a bodybuilding standpoint, there's a lot more we've got to think about from health. And I think that definitely is something where you see everyone wanting to do X, Y, and Z, but they don't want to look after themselves. And
so I think if you're going to go down that road, you need to be ready.
100%.
And you want to.
100%.
To mess yourself up.
Exactly. It's not a cheap game, bodybuilder.
Perfect. I think that touches upon everything nutritionally, touched upon all your coaching. Obviously, thanks for coming on board, sharing all the information. Enjoyed having you on. We're definitely getting you for a session at some point as well.
Yeah, we will.
Missed legs today. It wasn't available.
I was PTing this morning, so
these flexible clients.
It's Sunday, no more time left for the week.
But we'll get you on again in the future. Catch you.
Definitely.
See where life's taking you, whether you've made that move abroad.
Fingers crossed.